Hey guys, this is Mistress Nightmare here, and today we'll be reading Chapter 3 of Insanity Love. Let's get started. Aurora gazed out of her window curiously. The clouds bunched up together to create such an interesting shape. The shape that she was unable to fully determine because of the huge red handprint that smeared disgustingly on her window. She recalled how confused Cleo was acting when she came up to her room. Aurora didn't want to fight with her that night, just went along with acting confused as she was. It was currently around 1 a.m. Cleo managed to sleep quickly as she was out as her head touched the pillow. Aurora was still gazing at how easily her friend could fall asleep until this day. Now, Aurora lay still, going through the numerous events that happened to her just this one day, thinking about them. It made her feel that she was very experienced or over-exaggerating them again. She felt the weight of her eyelids increase as her thoughts slowly caused into silence. Her breath slowed as her body, thankfully for rest, but that was desperately needed. Aurora felt herself succumb to the soft embrace of sleep. The ambient noise of crickets, the slow breeze of the window comforting her at this moment. After everything has happened today, Aurora just glad that she was able to get some sleep in her bed at the end of the day. Coupling up next to her best friend, enjoying the peacefulness of the silence. She was glad to be safe and sound. But the sudden noise of her window sliding open made Aurora freeze. Her breath stilled. She made sure she kept her eyes closed, pretending to sleep, as she currently listened closely to the intruder creep closer, their footsteps loud and heavy. Aurora screamed mentally. She didn't know what to do. She was rabid in her mind, trying to think of a plan. She didn't realize the intruder stopped right before her bed. Gathering the courage, she peeked one of her eyes open, just a little, so she could see who the person was. She just hoped that her hair in the darkness didn't cover her face enough so she could do so. White hoodie, black pants, bloody knife. Aurora's gaze at the knife with half-lit eyes. She immediately knew who it was, and that came to visit her in the middle of the night. Jeff raised his knife up, preparing to strike, seeing this black-haired girl sleeping or felt adrenaline rushing through her. If she didn't act now, she'll be dead. Jumping from her spot, she used all her stealth or strength to tackle Jeff to the floor. Surprised by the sudden action, Jeff hit his head on the floor, briefly dazing him. Aurora didn't try to pin him down, knowing that for a fact that the man below her was so much stronger than her. She was scampering off him and attempting to get the knife out of his hands, causing him to let go. Fuck. Jeff let out a series of unpleasant words towards the girl as he brought his hands close to his chest, ignoring him. Aurora quickly grabbed the knife, the blood of the previous victims staining her hand. As she tried to think about it, she stabbed Jeff on one of his legs, preventing him to get up. You fucking bitch! Jeff grabbed onto her leg just as she was about to get away. Frankly, Aurora brought the knife down on the arm that held onto her. She saw how Jeff winced in pain, but he didn't let go. She was about to strike again. Before she could, Jeff pulled her leg towards his chest, causing the girl to lose her balance, falling hastily on her back. Stars filled her vision, the world spinning before her. Jeff swiftly took the knife from her and positioned it so this would position comfortably in his grasp. "You're such a strong one, I'll give you that," he laughed, amusing the girl's feeble attempt of survival. "However, you're not strong enough." Aurora attempted to push the psycho off her, her legs kicking aimlessly. This only made Jeff laugh harder. "Stop struggling. Why don't you make it easier for both of us and go to sleep?" "What the hell?" Cleo shrieked, pausing Jeff's moments. Taking the advantage of his distraction, Aurora kneed him in the balls before pushing him off her. She flew to her feet and rushed and pulled Cleo out of her bed. Before the two could make it out the door, Jeff sprung up and blocked their exits. He scowled at the two girls in front of him. Any type of amusement from his face. He chuckled darkly as he held the knife in his hands, tightening. "You are not going anywhere, Aurora." Aurora stared at the killer wide-eyed, her legs shaking due to the struggling and the strong wind that entered her room through the open window. "How do you know my name?" Jeff laughed manically as he smiled, widened as he took out a folded piece of paper from his pocket. Noticing the familiar classes shown on top of it, she instantly knew that it was her class schedule in his grip. Jeff grinned smugly. That's why she reacted. "Oh, you can go ahead and blame your death on your carelessness, doll." Aurora felt her eyes sting, tears threatening to fall out, but she forced herself to hold it in. She wasn't going to give the sick psycho killer the pleasure of seeing her cry. She couldn't help but blame herself for putting her and Cleo in this situation. This is not the time to take pity on yourself. Taking in a breath, Aurora cleared her head of the negative thoughts and focused on the plan from escape from the situation at hand. "Aurora," Cleo muttered quietly as she squeezed her friend's hand, letting go of it completely. "Run!" Cleo harshly tugged the blanket off her bed and over Jeff quickly, engulfing him in a tight hug to preventing him to get out. Cleo struggled to keep her hold, but maintaining it nonetheless. Noticing her friend was still standing there looking at her instead of looking at her face. "What are you doing? Run!" Mumbling a quick sorry, Aurora dashed through the door quickly, grabbing her phone from the table on the way. She felt terrible of leaving Cleo behind, but all she could do was pray that she could make it out alive. Her footsteps echoed off the walls as she dashed down the halls to her mom's room. Busting in, she noticed that the room was empty. "What?" Aurora panted with mixed emotions, following that she was glad that her mom wasn't in danger of being killed by Jeff, but where the hell was she? Hearing the blood-curdling scream erupt from her room, Aurora ran out of her mom's room and down the flight of stairs, dialing 911 as she went. She heard a loud thump somewhere that fell to the ground before hearing the loud steps of someone running after her. As much as she wanted to believe that it was Cleo, the sound of metal scraping her walls told her otherwise. Taking the risk looking back, Cleo prepared herself the right sight of Jeff manically approaching, grin gaining on her quickly. Aurora dialed the button, rapidly pressing her phone close to her ear as she turned sharply to the bathroom, locking the door as she got in. 911, what is your emergency? Aurora tried to pick up her voice carefully, but Jeff was yelling and pounding, distracting her at the momentarily. Ma'am, I'm going to have to... You're going to have to come out sometimes, bitch, Jeff spat out. He continued his assault on the door as Aurora backed away slowly. The go-to-sleep killer is in my house. My address is 203 Avenue Street. Please send help. Aurora looked around the bathroom anxiously, trying to find an item to protect herself with. Finding nothing useful, she held her phone tightly as she hoped that Jeff wouldn't bust down the door before the cops could come. Okay, hang on, sweetie. Help is on the way. Aurora yelped as Jeff's knife punctured through the door. She trembled when Jeff peeked through the small opening. His laughter filled her ears as he proceeded to make more cuts through the door, punching it so hard so she could see when he felt like the door was weak enough to break. Where are you right now? Aurora almost forgotten that she was still on the phone. I'm in the bathroom. Jeff stuck cutting through the wood, resisting to punch it instead. He was maniacal, her voice annoying. You sound fucking ridiculous. He's breaking through the door. Please come quick. She just finished her sentence when the small click from the door came flying off, landing at her feet. Stay calm. The dispatcher tried to comfort her. Aurora knew she was trying to help, but how in the hell was she supposed to stay calm right now? Do you see anything in the room to protect yourself with? No, Aurora said frankly, looking around the bathroom again just in case. Her eyes suddenly landed on the shower head. Instantly, she facepalmed for not thinking of sooner. Okay, I have to go. Aurora ended the call, not waiting for the dispatcher to respond. She shoved her phone into her pocket before wiping the sweat from her palms on her shorts nervously. More pieces of the door flew off, creating a bigger hole, just enough for Jeff to stick his arm in. Aurora turned back and faced the door just in time for her to jump out of the way before Jeff could swipe at her. Groaning at his failed attempt, Jeff retracted his arm, moving his face forward to look at her through the hole. He grinned at her, giggling profusely. He obviously knew something that she didn't, and she didn't like it one bit. Aurora's gaze shifted to Jeff's drawn to the speakers to the knob of the door, twisting it slowly. She felt her heart pounding in her chest. Aurora immediately grabbed the shower head and position in the other hand on the doorknob, ready to burst the water at any moment. Once the door was open fully, Aurora twisted the knob, unleashing boiling hot water on the killer. Ugh! Jeff's arm was brought up to his face, shielding his eyes from the onslaught of water as he continued to step forward. She panicked as he got nearer, her eyes focusing on the knife in his possession. Waiting for him to get closer, Aurora used the shower head to strike Jeff's head, using with all force that she had on the hit. Fucking hell. She rushed out of the bathroom in the direction of the front door. Reaching her destination, she paused before opening the door, her hand on the door handle tightening. Aurora looked back, peering in the staircase. She didn't know if Cleo was alive, but if she chose to get out, she would lose her chance of saving Cleo if she was still alive. However, if she stayed, Cleo was dead, and she'll end up dying too. Biting her lip, Aurora looked between the gaps between the two options and struggling decision. Turning her head to see Jeff as he exited the bathroom, Aurora speedily made her way up the stairs, hoping her best friend was still alive and not dead. Jeff quickly made chase after her, easily catching up. closing the distance between them. Running to her bedroom, her heart instantly dropped at the limbs tangled between now bloody sheets. It was her friend's body laying still. Aurora felt tears as they formed in her eyes, not bothering to stop them from falling this time. Her hands shook. She brought them to her mouth, couldn't believe the sight before her. Cleo? Lost in her dismay, Aurora didn't realize Jeff was standing right behind her, observing her reaction. Jeff was forever grinning on his face, looming to her ear, his hot breath fanning against her ear. Got you. That was the last thing she heard before her world turned black. Hey guys, you guys made it to the end of the video. I'm happy to hear that. Before you watch the next few videos coming out soon, please hit the like button, comment, subscribe to this channel if you guys want more creepypasta fanfictions out there. If anyone has any more creepypasta fanfictions, please leave it in the comments box below or commute in the community tab, since I'm currently looking for more creepypasta fanfictions out there to read to you guys. Until then, bye!